name's Jason Enos, product manager at Konami Digital Entertainment America, working on several different titles, one of them being Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is shaping up nicely. It's on track for November 2004 release in the United States. Mr. Kojima, the creator on the game, actually just recently was in Los Angeles finishing up all the voiceovers for the game, as well as all the final sound for the cinematic sequences. The game's looking fantastic. Today at this event we actually showed 2 new trailers for the game, especially for anyone that wanted to see what lies beyond the jungle. One of the great things about one of the trailers we showed today was that it actually gives people the first glimpse of the English voiceovers in the game. Although I can't really disclose who the voice actors are, but there's definitely one voice in the trailer that people will recognize, and that's the voice of Snake by David Hayter, who has actually reprised the role since the very first and second Metal Gear Solid games. So he's back in. One of the things that's also shown in this trailer is Snake actually infiltrating the enemy base. Of course we all know that he's going to be in the jungle this time around, but eventually the jungle's going to lead up to an enemy base, and we actually start to see some glimpses of that as a sneak peek. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater actually takes place during the 1960s. In fact, 1964 is when the game begins, and it's right at the height of the Cold War between the United States and Russia, which for a game like Metal Gear Solid, that's a perfect backdrop for the series. For anyone who's followed the game, everyone knows that the game is basically about this thing called Metal Gear, which is a mobile nuclear capable device. And if anyone has brushed up on their world history, the Cold War was essentially about Russia's capabilities to launch a nuclear strike against the United States, or actually any country. And one of the things that was very high tension back in the 60s was the United States was very concerned about what really was Russia's capability to do this. And in this game, you're going to see that Russia has been developing nuclear weapons, and the United States wants to find out really what can Russia do. And in order to get that counterintelligence, they need to send in a very special elite operative deep into the jungles of Russia to sniff out and find any documentation or any proof that this nuclear capable device exists. And that's where Snake comes into play, and certainly he's looking after for Metal Gear. In the process, he's going to run into some new adversaries, as well as some returning foes that people will remember from the series. And in the process, there's always a lot of plot twists and a lot of political intrigue, geopolitical ramifications. That's Mr. Kojima's style. But in the end, which you'll find out, I won't tell you today, but you'll discover the beginning of the Metal Gear Solid series, because the rest of basically this is back in the origin before everything happened, and you're going to play this game and then go through the rest of the series, and you'll be basically all caught up to speed. The character that you do play in the game is called Snake. Actually, at E3, some people actually noticed that his code name is called Naked Snake. That doesn't mean he's naked. That's his code name. Just like MGS1 and MGS2 have Solid Snake. If you're a follower of the series, one of the other things that you've known is that not only is there this Metal Gear nuclear device, but a lot of the game centers around genes and cloning of genes. And in theory, Solid Snake and Liquid Snake are offshoots of a much bigger or better or stronger Snake. And so to answer your question, Solid Snake is not necessarily the person that you play in this game, but that's not to say that the Snake that you do play is is not somehow related or tied to the Solid Snake that everyone knows and loves. For anyone who's played the previous Metal Gear Solid games, Metal Gear Solid 3 has a lot of new gameplay mechanics. From the close quarters combat system, which is entirely new, to the use of camouflage to blend in with your environment, the fact that you have to actually hunt and survive, so you actually have to find food and capture it yourself. The food capturing system is certainly a new element to the game. You've never really had to worry about feeding Snake before. Of course, you needed rations, to sort of power up your health, but it was never like Snake's physical ability will go down if he doesn't eat. You'll have to deal with that in this game. And certainly in a jungle, there's no, nicely prepared rations just laying on the ground. You got to find them, you got to hunt. So there's many different things in the jungle, various creatures, fruit, mushrooms, snakes, fish, frogs. All of these things can actually be either killed or actually tranquilized and used. Now, what's kind of interesting with the food capture system is that if you kill an enemy or kill the food that you want, it'll actually rot if you don't eat it right away because it's dead. But if you use the tranquilizer gun, it'll actually keep the actual animal alive and fresh until you're ready to eat it. And a fresh meat is going to give you a lot more stamina than something that's rotten. Also, there's lots of different kinds of snakes and frogs in the jungle. So, for example, some snakes are poisonous. So if Snake eats it, he's going to get sick. He's going to lose stamina. He might, really get in bad shape. There's also some stuff that he'll eat and absolutely love, and it'll boost his stamina all the way. Every once in a while, you'll find something that he absolutely hates, and at first, you feed it to him. It's not going to really help your stamina at all. But if you force feed it to him and keep feeding it to him and keep feeding it to him, eventually he might grow to have an exquisite taste for that type of food and actually start to enjoy it. So it might actually help boost your stamina in the end. So these are kinds of the new elements for the food capturing that's being introduced in the game. Again, this is completely new to the series. There's a lot of other great new elements to the game. So look forward to playing it this November on PlayStation 2.